Hello, and welcome back to a Transformed Life podcast. I am so excited that you are joining me for this episode today. And because we are in the midst of an eclipse season and it was the blood moon a few days ago, many people are experiencing difficult times, challenging circumstances, uh, life interruptions, life pivots, unexpected events. And so today is going to be a little bit of a different podcast because I need this podcast as much as you maybe need to listen to this. So I wanted to bring some nourishment to your soul if you are going through difficult, challenging times, things that are unexpected. Life seems to be working in the collective right now, and a lot of people are experiencing challenging situations, things that were not anticipated. And I want to chat with you about how to navigate these challenging times without losing yourself. Some seasons in life simply feel heavier, more emotional, more uncertain, more intense. Things feel like they are shifting, unraveling, asking something of us. And when we find ourselves in one of those seasons, it can really be easy to assume something has gone wrong. Maybe shame comes up for you. It can be easy to think, why is everything so hard right now? Why do I feel so stretched? Why does everything feel tender, exposed, or unclear? Though I want to offer a different perspective today. Sometimes difficult seasons are not here to destroy us. Sometimes they are here to reveal, to clarify, to strip away what is no longer aligned, to show us what we can no longer keep carrying, to invite us back into deeper truth. And that does not always feel good. In fact, sometimes it feels like grief. It is grief. Maybe it feels like exhaustion. Perhaps it feels like confusion or even disappointment because life is not going the way we thought it would. Through difficult times, though difficult times often contain information, and if we can stay with ourselves through them instead of abandoning ourselves in the middle of them, they can actually become super powerful seasons of transformation. So today, I want to talk about how to navigate challenging times without losing yourself. Not by pretending everything is fine, not by forcing positivity, not by over-explaining your pain, by staying anchored in what is true, what is yours, and what matters most. The first thing I want to say is this: challenging times reveal. They do not just disrupt. Pressure has a way of showing us what was already unstable, unsustainable. It reveals the relationships that have drained us, the commitments that no longer fit, the patterns that cost us too much, the places where we have been overriding our own needs, our own intuition, and our own capacity. A hard season can expose all of that very quickly, and it can be super disorienting. And while all of this can feel brutal in the moment, it is also useful because clarity is a gift, even when it arrives through discomfort. Sometimes what is falling apart was never meant to be held together by force. Sometimes what feels like loss is actually life asking for a more honest alignment. Sometimes what feels like chaos is the end of pretending. That does not make it easy, though it does make it meaningful. So if you are in a challenging season right now, one question to ask yourself is, what is this season revealing? Not just what is hurting, not just what is frustrating, though what is being shown to me that I can no longer ignore. Maybe it is your need for rest. Maybe it is the truth about a relationship. Maybe it is the reality that you have been overgiving. Maybe it is grief you have not let yourself feel. Maybe it is a call to simplify. Maybe it is the realization that you cannot build your future while betraying yourself in the present. That is what difficult seasons do. They reveal. The second thing is this: you do not need all the answers to move wisely. And I think a lot of people believe they need full clarity before they can make a proper decision. They think, once I know exactly what is happening, once I have the whole plan, once I feel calm and certain, then I will know what to do. And clarity doesn't work like that. Clarity works by action, especially in challenging times. Sometimes wisdom is not having the full map. Sometimes wisdom is simply making the next honest decision, the next grounded choice, and most importantly, the most self-respecting decision. Sometimes the next step is not glamorous at all. It is pausing, it is sleeping, it is saying no, it is not sending the text, or maybe it is sending the text. It is canceling the thing, it is asking for help and receiving help. It is telling the truth. It is deciding that just because something once fit does not mean it still does. You do not need to force certainty. You need enough self-trust to stay present with what is true today. That is often what navigating hard seasons really looks like. It looks less like some dramatic breakthrough and more like a series of small, honest choices. A series of moments where you stay connected to yourself instead of panicking your way into the next thing. A series of decisions where you choose integrity over urgency. And that matters. Because when life feels unstable, the temptation is to escape yourself, to numb, to grasp, to chase reassurance, to overfunction, to say yes too fast, to fix what is not yours, to perform strength instead of practicing it. The real strength in difficult seasons often looks quieter than that. It looks like staying. It looks like staying with yourself, staying with reality, staying with what your body, your spirit, your life, and your soul are trying to tell you. And the third thing I want to talk about is boundaries, because hard seasons make boundaries essential. When life is easy, people can sometimes get away with loose boundaries for a while. They can overgive, overbook, overexplain, overextend, overfunction. They can ignore their own limits because maybe there's enough energy to keep doing it. Though challenging times expose the true cost of that. When you are carrying a lot, your energy becomes precious. Your attention becomes precious. Your peace becomes paramount. And that is usually when boundaries stop being a nice idea and start becoming absolutely necessary, an integral part of your life, of your framework, of your human system. Boundaries in hard seasons might look like taking longer to respond, declining things you normally would say yes to, ending conversations sooner, not picking up emotional labor that is not yours, not over-explaining your decisions, protecting your rest, protecting your focus, protecting your healing, protecting your mind, body, and spirit and soul. And I want to say this very clearly. A boundary is not cruelty. A boundary is not rejection. A boundary is not punishment. A boundary is an act of responsibility. And what is responsibility? The ability to respond. A boundary is not a reaction. It's a response. It says, I know what I can carry right now. I know what I cannot. I know what keeps costing me too much. I know that if I do not protect my energy, I will lose myself trying to be everything for everyone. And that is never healthy. And that is not noble. And it's certainly not sustainable. Some people will not like your boundaries. Some people benefited from your lack of them. Though that does not make your boundary wrong. Especially in hard seasons, you do not need to justify every shift you make in order to survive. Heal, regroup, or protect what matters. And the fourth thing is this: grief and clarity can exist together. I think this is really important because sometimes when something painful happens, people assume that if it hurts, it must be wrong. If I am grieving, maybe I made the wrong decision. If I feel sad, maybe I should go backward. If this ending hurts, maybe I should hold on. Though grief does not always mean something should, or could continue. Sometimes grief is simply the natural response to change, to endings, to unmet expectations, to the loss of what we hoped would be, to the version of life we thought we were building, to the realization that something is no longer ours to carry. You can feel sadness and still know something is true. You can mourn and still move forward. You can love something and still release it. You can wish it had gone differently and still accept what is real. And this is maturity. This is emotional honesty. That is what it means to navigate life without forcing everything into simple categories. Not everything painful is bad. Not every ending is failure. Not everything difficult means stop. Sometimes challenging seasons ask us to grieve with open hands, to let ourselves feel the ache without making the ache our identity, to honor what mattered without insisting it remain the same. And that is sacred work. Your job in difficult times is to stay anchored, not perfect, not endlessly productive, not even emotionally unaffected, but simply anchored. Anchored in what is true, anchored in your values, anchored in your body, anchored in what actually supports you. When life feels intense, this is not the time to abandon your basics. This is the time to come back to them, to double down on the basics of soul care. Come back to sleep. Come back to hydration. Come back to movement. Stay grounded in prayer or meditation. Come back to your breathing. Come back to time outside. Come back to journaling. Come back to saying the true thing out loud. Come back to reducing noise in your head, reducing noise from external stimuli. Come back to asking, what do I need today to stay with myself? Because when we lose ourselves in a hard season, it usually does not happen all at once. It happens in little ways. We stop listening to our body. We ignore our limits. We make decisions from fear, from a flight, fight, freeze, fawn response. We reach outside ourselves for constant reassurance. We overcommit because we do not want to disappoint anyone. We let urgency lead instead of integrity leading. We betray what we know. And then we wonder why we feel farther and farther from ourselves. Though the way back is also in little things, tiny returns, tiny acts of self-trust, small moments of truth, tiny decisions that say, I'm still here, I'm not leaving myself in this. And that is the work. And maybe that is the invitation in this challenging season for you, not to become someone else overnight, not to master the whole lesson immediately, though to remain connected to yourself while life is changing around you. To listen, to notice, to simplify, to protect, to grieve, to speak the truth in kindness and love, to choose what is aligned even when it is hard. So if you are in a difficult season right now, here is what I want to leave you with. You are not failing just because life feels heavy. You are not off track simply because things are unclear. You do not need every answer today, even though it feels like it. You do not need to force what is not flowing. You do not need to keep carrying what is breaking you. You do not need to lose yourself in order to make it through. Maybe the season is not here to punish you. Maybe it is here to clarify you. Maybe it is here to show you what matters. Maybe it is here to return you to truth. Maybe it is here to help you become more honest about what stays, what goes, and what must be protected now. And maybe your bravest move is not pushing harder or faster or more. Maybe your bravest, courageous move is staying with yourself while things become clear in the midst of the storm. Thank you for being here with me today. If this episode spoke to you, please share it with someone who may be walking through a challenging season too. And most of all, please take care of yourself. Honor your capacity, trust what is being revealed, and let the season teach you without letting it take away from yourself. I will talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this podcast, I would greatly appreciate a 5-star review on whatever platform you are listening to. If you are watching this on YouTube, I would greatly appreciate a subscribe, like on this channel. It helps spread our message and our calling to the ends of the earth. And if you would like to support this show, then please support this by signing up for a subscription to Heal Thy, our monthly card deck, where we teach and guide you out of overwhelm, stress, and burnout with one simple theme every month that you can concentrate for 30 days, a habit, if you will, that is inspirational, it's encouraging, and it's motivation, and it's a beautiful design for your daily life. And it was really created to bring health, healing, and hope to humanity. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next week. Have a beautiful day.